Lesson 2-5, Dividing Integers. When we are dividing integers, we follow the same rule as multiplication. So if it's a different sign, then the answer is negative. If it's the same signs, then the answer is positive. So if we have an example like -10 divided by -5, since both of these are negative, then we know our answer is positive. So -10 divided by -5 is a positive 2. Pause the video to try a few examples. The first example is 48 divided by 2. Both numbers are positive, so our answer is positive. 48 divided by 2 is going to give you a positive 24. -35 divided by -5. Both numbers are negative, so our answer is going to be positive. 35 divided by 5 is 7. So once you determine what your sign is going to be, then you just go ahead and divide like normal, just like we normally would have done had we not known positive or negative numbers. Let's try another example of -63 divided by 7. So we first need to identify what our sign is going to be. We have a negative, and anytime that we have a number that does not have a sign in front of it, we assume that that sign is positive. So here we have a positive 7. So a negative and a positive, our answer is going to be negative. 63 divided by 7 is 9. Pause the video to try a few examples of dividing numbers with different signs. So make sure you're paying attention to the number and the sign. Let's take a look at the first example, 64 divided by -8. Again, anytime that there's not a sign in front of a number, we make it a positive. So a positive divided by a negative is a negative. And now we have 64 divided by 8, which is just 8. Here we have 110 divided by -10. If there's not a sign in front, we assume that it's a positive. So 110 divided by 10 is 11. And we know that our sign is negative because it's a positive divided by a negative. When we are evaluating expressions, we replace the variable with the value and then we solve. Make sure to include parentheses because this is where those negative numbers really can become tricky if you're not using parentheses. So let's look at this example. We have 12y divided by x. Up here this tells us that y is -3 and x is -6. So 12, again, I'm going to include parentheses here so that I can have my -3 divided by parentheses again with my -6. If I didn't have parentheses right here, this would look like a 12 minus 3, and we know that that's a different operation than what we're actually performing. So right now we have a 12 times a -3, so I'm going to go and work up here. So 12 times -3 is -36, because a negative times a positive, and then we multiply normal, divided by a -6. So now we have a negative divided by a negative. Our answer will be positive. And then 36 divided by 6 is 6. When we hear the word mean in math, we're not describing the way that someone acts or someone feels. We're describing the average. And everybody has heard the word average before. When we hear average, we think of grades. All of your grades are averaged together to get the end grade. So when we're trying to find the mean or the average of a set of numbers, for example, your grades, you find the sum of the numbers, so you add all the numbers up, and then you divide by the number of items in the set. So if we look at this example here, it says the wind chill temperatures in degrees for 7 days are -6, -5, 2, -10, -9, and 6. Find the mean temperature. So if we wanted to find the mean temperature for this, we first need to add all of these together. So -6 plus -5 plus 2 plus a negative 10 plus a negative 9 plus a 6. So negative 6 and negative 5 is negative 11, plus 2 is negative 9. So this way we had a negative 9. I'm going to go ahead and combine my two negatives over here. So this would be a negative 19 plus 6. So we have negative 19 plus a negative 9, which is going to give us a negative 28 plus 6. So here we would have negative 22 would be the number that we have for our sum. But then we have to take 22 and divide that number by 7, which would get us approximately negative 3.1. You will get a few more practice of the mean and average as you continue through the textbook practice. As well, we'll have a few activities in class where we'll be able to practice mean and average. So there's not any of those included in this lesson review. Please pause the video, make sure you complete the lesson review in your notebooks, and present it for verification.